Thanks to War Thunder for sponsoring today's video. 100% Plants vs Zombies only to beat the full adventure mode, get all 21 achievements, finish all 20 minigames, 18 puzzles, 10 survival modes, make it all the way to wave 20 of Survival Endless, scrounge up 237,000 coins so that we can grow this stupid tree to 100 feet tall, and hardest of all, figure out how the heck Begooled Twist works. But before we do all that, we gotta get through adventure mode. If you've never played Plants vs Zombies before, well, let's be honest, you have. But if you don't remember the intense lore behind the game, let me break it down for you. Basically, there are zombies, and our plants don't like them very much. Right now, the only plant we can use is the always reliable pea shooter. Click some of the falling sun orbs from the sky, put down an army of little freaks, and slaughter the countless brain-dead lifeless monsters that post on LinkedIn. I mean, that are approaching our lawn. For defeating them, we're gifted a treat sweeter than even the finest nectar.
Oh my god, fancy seeing you here, baby cakes. Oh, daddy likey. Going straight to jail, man.
On level 1-2, I decided on a goal for this playthrough. You see, when I 100%ed Plants vs Zombies 2, a lot of people were upset with my plant placement. Mostly citing the fact that 1, I don't use symmetry, and 2, I don't place my sunflowers in the back. And while there are a ton of valid reasons why I do these things, I've decided to acquiesce to the overwhelming amount of comments I got.
Just kidding! Bask in the disgusting glory of my non-symmetrical build. Your rage only serves to fuel me.
For completing the level, we're given the always constipated Cherry Bomb. The third level introduces the Conehead Zombie. He requires 2 pea shooters to take him down instead of just 1. Besides that, we can just spam as many pea shooters as we can, and are able to take down the wave at the end very easily. After that, it looks like the landscaping guys finally headed over, as we now have 5 full lanes to plant on, which makes me question what kind of lawn care business is running in the zombie apocalypse. Irregardless, for this level, when the first zombie comes trotting down, I place our newly acquired walnut to stall him out. While the zombie is forced to swallow down pounds upon pounds of my nut, I fill out the lawn with as many sunflowers as I can. This gives me the sun to overwhelm the screen with pea shooters and eventually finish out the level. As a reward, we're given a shovel and meet one of the few characters who could take on Superman, Crazy Dave. He shows us how we can use the shovel to uproot plants on our lawn, and then introduces us to our first minigame, Walnut Bowling. Instead of planting, we now roll the walnuts down the lane, watching as they bounce from zombie to zombie. This level is also the site of the first level where we've got an ulterior motive. There's an achievement in this game for having a single walnut bounce off of 5 zombies. I try to let the zombies get as far as possible on the lawn, giving them the greatest chance to be hit 5 times. For most of the level, I am unsuccessful, but at the end... 3... Oh, come on! Oh, that was 5! What the heck? Where's my achievement? However, for some reason, despite clearly hitting 5, there's no achievement in sight for me. On the bright side, completing this level gives me one of the best plants in the game, the Spud Mine. Spud Mine instant kills a single zombie, so it's a great way to buy yourself time while readying your defense. It also gives us our very first achievement for blowing the poor zombie to smithereens. I realized that if I just use Spud Mine and Walnut on the bottom lane, I don't need to waste sun on pea shooters down there, so I continue placing them down for my extremely optimal build. For beating the level, we receive Snow Pea, and it's on to level 7. Here, I decided to bang out the Sunny Days achievement for earning 8,000 sun in a single level. To achieve this, I play through the level like normal until reaching the final wave. Here, I kill all but 1 lone zombie. This zombie shall unfortunately not be given the sweet embrace of death like his brethren, instead being forced to eternally chew through nut after nut after nut. While our little Sisyphus attempts to reach that forsaken lawnmower, I plant sunflowers on every single tile. After a few minutes, we reach 8,000 sun, get the achievement, and can put the zombie suffering to an end. So long, you poor, tortured soul. Sisyphus drops the sleeper hit of the PvZ seed catalog, the Chomper. And while the Chomper has been ostracized by nearly everyone in the Plants vs Zombies community, say hello to the #1 Chomper defender. Yeah, go ahead, boo me, I don't care. You see, Chomper instant kills a single zombie, with the downside of a full 42 seconds of chewing. People often complain that this is way too long of a chew time, making the plant not at all worth it. Such a foolish criticism. You see, the strength of the Chomper lies in the fact that it's the only insta-kill with a fast seed recharge time. Who cares if the Chomper only kills 1 plant? Just throw down another. Other instant kills like the Cherry Bomb take a full 60 seconds to recharge. The Chomper, though, just 8. Think of it as very similar to one of the best plants in PvZ2, the Magnifying Grass. As if you have a lot of sun, you should be able to use this all the time. If you take a single thing from this 100% run, it's that you need to respect Chomper. Through the toothy excellence of our Chompy lad, we're able to head down toward the penultimate level of the first world. Here we get the Repeater who, yeah, okay, he's actually one of the best plants in the game, just shredding through zombies with his double P power. Then it was on to World 1's final level. Instead of planting your own plants here, you're randomly sent some down a conveyor belt. Now, I've always hated these levels. They're just so boring, and it's just like random plants appearing on your screen with no strategy really whatsoever. But apparently, people love them? What? Why? Are you people not able to plan simple strategies? We beat the level, and our reward is probably the single greatest plant in this game, Puff Shroom. We advance on to World 2, where the zombies have stayed up late, now choosing to attack us at night. Sun no longer falls from the sky here, so we need to be extra careful. But luckily, that's no longer a problem, because we've got Puff Puff Shroom. And dear God, Puff Shroom is so good. It's a free offensive plant with a fast recharge time, meaning on most levels, you don't even need to plant anything else. You can just infect your entire lawn with the fungal roots of the puff. This level is also where we're introduced to the concept of money, making me seriously question how we bought this house. We're going to need to pick up all the money we see because we need around $300,000 for this run. With that, it's time to pick up the Sun Shroom. And I don't know if it's just me, but I always hated this guy for the sole reason that he messes up your sun values. Everything else in the game is worth multiples of 25. So when these cheeky little jerks drop a 15 sun orb, your sun just is not around interval for the rest of the level, and oh my god, I hate it. Bang through the level easily, but for 2-3, we're shaking things up. For this one, I'm going to attempt the No Fungus Among Us achievement, where you need to beat a nighttime level without planting any mushrooms. The biggest problem you run into attempting this is, of course, the lack of sun you get. The key is to place your potato mines as late as possible. You're going to be relying on them for a good chunk of the level. You'd think you want to place them quickly so that their seed recharge time refreshes soon. But in reality, if you place the spuds too quickly, you're sacrificing that 25 sun that could have gone to a sunflower. And since they produce sun on a timer, the whole thing snowballs very quickly. If you place your potato mines just 3 tiles before the zombie arrives, you should be able to still blow it up. I end up having to sacrifice a lawnmower, but I do eventually get 10 whole sunflowers up, which lets me put pea shooters on every lane. Then I just use chompers for coneheads and screen door zombies, and boom, Among Us achievement. On 2-4, Crazy Dave offers us a seed slot, which I have just enough cash for and happily buy. This gives me the space to bring Grave Buster into the level, who I can use to destroy the graves that have popped up on the lawn. The fact that I can't plant on them doesn't really bother me, but they each give a coin when destroyed, and as Elon Musk once said, to have money is better than to not. It's time for level 2-5, Whack a Zombie. Here, your mouse is the hammer, and you must, well, whack the zombies. If you need me to explain any more than that, your skull might be filled with molasses. Who would actually need these cherry bombs? Like, you gotta be awful. You're gonna put me in a clicking game, okay? I have 150 hours on Cookie Clicker, alright? This ain't nothing. While busting a grave, I do manage to get a diamond, which is worth $1,000, which was hugely lucky. I also get so many coins in that level that I got the Penny Pincher achievement. Nice. 2-6 is more of the same, but at the end we unlock Scaredy Shroom. Now, Scaredy Shroom I have a bit of a storied history with. You see, I put out a short the other day that started like this. Scaredy Shroom is widely considered to be one of the worst plants in all of Plants vs Zombies. Safe to say, people did not respond well to this, with pretty much every single comment telling me that Scaredy Shroom is actually an amazing plant. Like, out of every video I've ever put out on my channel, this is probably still the one that gets the most hateful comments to this day. So I decided to put my money where my mouth is and try out Scaredy Shroom to test to see if it's truly as bad as I said. If you're not familiar, Scaredy Shroom is basically a pea shooter, but it only costs 25 sun and gets scared when zombies get near. And after using him for 3 levels straight, what's my conclusion?
Dude, what was I talking about?
Scaredy Shroom is like really good. I seriously have no idea why I said that he wasn't. I mean, he's not as good as Puff Shroom, but the absurdly low cost means you can just spam them throughout your entire build. And since the game is pretty easy, he gets the job done. And so I must apologize to the Plants vs Zombies community, but I still stand by my hate for celery stalker. After 3 levels of being carried by the timid little fungus, we get the privilege of doing another boring auto-scroller level, and it was on to World 3. Bored at the front entrance, the zombies decide to try out the back door. It is taking everything in my power to not make a joke here. Your backyard has an Olympic level pool for whatever reason, so the zombies can use their little floaties to attack you on the water lanes as well. Before we start the level though, I knock out another easy achievement by typing mustache into my keyboard, giving all the zombies Markiplier mustaches and me an achievement. To planes on the water, you'll need your trusty lily pad. But they never really send that many zombies on the pool lanes, so generally just 1 or 2 plants are good enough to defend the entire lane. As a reward, we're given Squash, an insanely good plant. Having acquired over $5,000 from that, Crazy Dave gives us an 8th seed slot, which I happily accept. In 3-2, we start using our Squash, and it is a godsend. It's basically like having another spud mine, meaning you can take even longer to get your sun flow going. Not to mention, it also works in the water. Midway through the level, I kill a zombie, which unlocks minigames. After beating the level with some repeaters, I decide to go check them out. But before we move on to minigames, I'd like to thoroughly shake your craniums with a game that's anything but mini, War Thunder, the sponsor of today's video. War Thunder is the most comprehensive vehicle combat game ever made, and it's available now for free on PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. War Thunder is an intense vehicle combat game where you use historically accurate and detailed vehicles, fit with realistic graphics and authentic sound effects, put yourself right inside some of the most powerful war machines of all time. In War Thunder, you can take command of over 2,500 different kinds of tanks, planes, helicopters, and ships from 10 major nations, ranging from biplanes and armored cars of the 1920s to the fighter jets and main battle tanks of today. So what are you waiting for? Join the worldwide community of over 70 million players today and delve into the awe-inspiring experience that is War Thunder. There's an unparalleled amount of content to discover, and no better game suited for fans of military history. And for new players, or those who haven't played in 6 months, you'll receive a free bonus pack. Bonus pack will give you the exclusive vehicle decorator Eagle of Valor, 100,000 silver lions, and 7 days of premium account. Use my link in the description description or comments down below and sign up for War Thunder today. And thanks to War Thunder for sponsoring today's video. The first one is Zombotany. Here, all of the regular zombies have had their heads swapped out for plant ones, mainly a bunch of pea shooters. The pea shooter heads are pretty annoying as they can shoot all the way down your lane and destroy your defense. Luckily, by this point in the game, we have a ton of insta-kills like Squash, Spud, Cherry Mine, and Chomper, so we can use those to get early kills on the plant abominations. Once the zombie numbers get larger, I place down a 3-peater, which if you don't know, is just a pea shooter that shoots in 3 lanes at once. All of the pea shooter zombies have the health of a regular zombie, so he can handle all top 3 lanes by himself. For the bottom 2 lanes, I just continue using insta-kills as it's pretty expensive to protect 2 lanes at once. During the waves, they end up sending walnut zombies, which are just really bulky zombies, but they're not bulky enough to withstand my cherry bomb. It's important to note that each minigame gives you a diamond, which is important when money is so scarce right now. The second minigame is a harder version of walnut bouldering. I once again do my same strategy of waiting until the zombies get all the way down the lane to try and hit 5 at once, but once again, I'm unsuccessful. Then it's time to move on to the last minigame for right now, Slot Machine. Here, you can use 25 sun to spin the slots, and depending on what it lands on, you get different rewards, like pea shooters, sunflowers, or even just sun itself. At first, you need to rely on the machine for all your sun, but after a while, you end up getting sunflowers that you can just let them produce for you to get the 2,000 sun you need. But despite knowing that, I just keep spinning, and spinning, and spinning,
And spinning. I'm not even looking at my lawn anymore, just gazing into the abyss of the slots, waiting for the colors to light up.
You know,
99% of gamblers quit before hitting it big.
I decide to get out of there before I fall down this slippery slope and end up broke, or even worse, streaming on kick. Back to adventure mode, it's time to tackle another achievement. This one can be earned by beating a daytime pool level without using any pea shooters. Since pea shooters are really the only consistently damaging plants we have, this is a bit of a struggle. I start off the level by spamming puff shrooms. Despite them being asleep, they work great as a free way to stall the incoming zombies. Then for my main damage, I go for a full Chomper build here. Since Chomper reloads so fast, the key is just to have a ton of sun production so you can place down as many as possible. 3 lanes of sunflowers make this a pinch, and now we've achieved what my baby nephew never has: don't pee in the pool. After another rather uneventful level, we've unlocked Crazy Dave's shop. But for now, there's nothing we really want to buy, so we close the trunk and we're on to this world's mid-act break. This one is a conveyor belt level with zombies that are perfectly average sized, honestly huge if you're considering the world.
Never put a single pea shooter on these top 2 lanes, and jalapeno.
Hubba hubba, wugga wugga wugga, wow wow.
I don't know what that was all about.
It's only 3 hours in, and I've already lost my mind. The rest of the pool levels are pretty uneventful, but I do try to do different builds each level, like 3-peater, or repeater plus torchwood, or 3-peater plus torchwood. Okay, I guess they actually weren't that different. On one level, I did try snow pea plus spikeweed, with the intent being that snow pea slows down the zombies so that I can place spikeweed underneath them, and they'll be slowed so they take more damage from his pointy spikes. However, this level made me realize that spikeweed is absolutely terrible. Like, seriously, it does almost no damage, and there needs to be 5 in a lane to kill even just a single zombie. But with that done, it's on to World 4, the nighttime pool levels. In this world, we have to deal with fog blocking the right half of the screen. Because we can't see what zombies are spawning, we have no idea which lanes we need to support and which we don't. However, this can be easily circumvented by spamming puff shrooms on every single lane. It's no wonder they nerfed these guys in Plants vs Zombies too. Here we get the Planter. By placing down the Planter, we can finally see through the fog, with the trade-off of now having to protect this completely defenseless plant. Usually you'd need to use a defensive plant like Walnut or Tall Nut for this, but if we just spam puff shrooms in front of it, no zombie can even get close to it. War 3 is meant to show off balloons and how their balloons can be popped by the cactus. The cactus is famously the worst plant in this game, as it's just a more expensive pea shooter who's already pretty bad. I actually set out with the specific intent of using the cactus this level to show it off, but it's so bad I only planted 1 the entire level, instead just opting to use doom shrooms to clear them. I don't think I touched on doom shrooms earlier, but they're basically just like a really, really big cherry bomb that hit the entire screen. As a reward for clearing this level, we're given Blover, meaning we never have to think about cactus again. Blover blows away balloons and the fog, which is literally just combining the last 2 plants we got. I think a big reason that the fog levels are generally regarded as the worst world is because all of the plants are, first of all, bad, and second of all, only serve to deal with one niche zombie. Lantern, Blover, Cactus, Split Pea, Magnet Shroom, they're all a little too niche. Despite that, Act 4-5 introduces probably my favorite mid-act minigame, Vase Breaker. For those who aren't familiar, you break open the vases and they either have zombies or plants inside, and you need to act quickly to try and kill off all the zombies. For some reason, in these levels, they give you like an absurd amount of insta-kills, meaning we don't even really need to place anything else and we can just brush on through. Before the next level, I decided to make my first purchase from Crazy Dave's shop in the Gloom Shroom. The Gloom Shroom is an upgrade from the Fume Shroom that I definitely didn't mention earlier. The Gloom Shroom is one of the best plants in the game because it attacks in all 8 directions, attacks absurdly fast, does a ton of damage, is pretty low cost, and pierces through zombies. Gloom Shroom is also my personal favorite plant in the game, so I'm gonna try and restrain myself and not use it in every single level. For winning, we unlock Starfruit, who's apparently a controversial plant in the PvZ community, but for my money, cheap cost, 5 directional shots, and the good damage output make him a really good plant for just busting through some of these easier levels. We unlock the pumpkin and go on to beat another easy conveyor belt level, putting us on the game's final world, the roof. But before that, it's time to head to the recently unlocked puzzle mode. The first string of puzzles is a harder version of the vase breaker minigame. My general strategy for this is to waste 10 hours of your life playing vase breaker for a Plants vs Zombies 2 video, and then the ones in this game will feel like a complete joke. The second vase breaker level is called To the Left, where you get a bunch of repeaters who spawn facing to the left instead of the usual right. This is a bit of a mixed bag because it gives the plant more time to fire and weaken the zombie, but it also becomes harder to place as you'll need to clear some vases first to fit it in. The last vase breaker level we have unlocked is called Third Vase. I have genuinely thought for hours and cannot tell you why it's called because the level does feature 2 mechanics, but none of them are related to baseball or romance. Firstly, we have disco zombies, which you're going to want to make sure to use the hypno shroom on. We've also got the Jack-in-the-Box zombie. If you reveal a vase with them inside, they'll open up all the surrounding vases as well as any nearby plants. For now, this is not a huge problem. We're able to finish out the last vase. With that finished up, it's back onto the roof. The roof levels introduce 2 new mechanics. Firstly, all plants must be placed inside these little pots as there's no soil on the roof. Secondly, the roof has a slant and normal pea shooters won't work, forcing us to use a new plant type, catapults. For now, we only have the cabbage pult, who's literally an uglier pea shooter. We beat the level and unlock the ability to place down flower pots. Flower pot has always been one of my personal favorite plants because according to the almanac entry, he's not a garden pot, he's a plant too, and you can tell by his cute little smile. None of this is relevant to the gameplay at all, but occasionally I just gotta slip in something for myself. On level 5 too, I take it upon myself to grab the grounded achievement, which requires you to beat a roof level without catapults. I choose this level because funnily enough, in the speedrun world record of adventure mode, they don't actually use catapults either. No, it's actually much faster to use star fruit on the non-slanted part of the roof. I employ this same strategy myself, starting off with instant kills until I can afford star fruits. Then I just place them in the center 3 lanes and watch as the plant that I once found to be completely useless just shreds through every zombie who sets foot on the roof. For that, we're given our 9th achievement, nearly halfway through. I actually had so much fun with starfruit in that next level that I actually used them to beat the following level as well. For completing that one, we're given the coffee bean, which will be hugely helpful later on. Now, we blast through 5-4 with some catapults and then get to my least favorite mid-act break, Bungee Bonanza. This one's actually less of a bungee level and more of a chomper auto-scroller. All of the zombies are placed down via bungee, but that doesn't really make a difference when all of your plants are in the back and they give you like 5 billion pumpkins. On to 5-6, where we can use our new coffee bean to wake up our gloom shrooms to just absolutely shred through this level. I use this for the next 2 levels, switch back to the traditional catapults on 5-8 as it introduces the second toughest enemy in the game, the Gargantuar. Unfortunate for him, we've got squashed to crush the behemoth and move on to the last regular level of adventure mode. For this final level, I go with a build involving our newly acquired melon pult. Melon pults are massively powerful catapults that not only do a huge amount of damage, but also deal splash damage to nearby zombies, making them one of the strongest plants in the game. I realize now that I've been saying that about pretty much every plant we've been getting. But let me just be clear, spikeweed is awful. Their sheer power lets me overwhelm the Gargantuar horde and progress on to the final level of PvZ adventure mode, the fight with Dr. Zomboss. Of course, it's a conveyor belt level because the zombies hate plants and fun. The key to this fight is to save all your ice shrooms and peppers until he lowers his big robotic head to the ground and spam ice shrooms that your catapults can fire at him. And once he unfreezes, quickly use a pepper before freezing him again. Just make sure you save one of each for his giant balls of fire and ice that he can somehow produce. Okay, I have to say something here. Firstly, bravo to whoever made this roof. My last apartment leaked whenever it rained. This one can carry 5,000-pound ice spheres on it. Secondly, how scarce is the brain economy that the zombies must go to this length just for my brain? Could they not just ransack the organ fridge at a hospital? With this technology, they could artificially grow their own brain. Logic aside, we managed to weaken the evil Dr. Zomboss, and eventually... Easy. Go plants! You got 'em, plants! Complete adventure mode, easy dub. Okay, you win. No more eating brains for us. We just want to make a music video with you now. Sincerely, the zombies. Aw. There's a zombie on your lawn. I know every single lyric to this. I know your type. Tall, dark, and dead. You wanna bite all the petals right off my head and then eat the brains of the one who planted me here. No! Wait, oh, whoa, the baddie's got teeth? I never noticed that before. Yo! I just saw Crazy Day's legs. I'm gonna freak. Dude, do you guys think she was winking at me? But with adventure mode completed, we are far from finished with this game, as tons of new modes have opened up to us now. First up, it's time to check out the new minigames. And the first new one we have is Raining Seeds. In this game, seeds fall down from the sky, and you have to plant... Yep, this is exactly the same as an autoscroller. I don't know why they added this one. For some reason, the level is 15 minutes long, but yet it's just an autoscroller. I'll take this opportunity to talk about Tangle Kelp. I don't know if it's just me, but for some reason as a kid, I always thought he was like a faceless plant, and the black on his front was like a really large open mouth with the red being his tonsils, and he was just like constantly screaming. Is anyone else relating to this? No? Just me? Okay, fair. The next minigame is one of my personal favorites, Bagul. In this minigame, you're given a lawn of existing plants, and you need to swap them around into pairs of 3. Depending on your generation, this is either like Bejeweled, Candy Crush, Royal Match, or Pokemon Troze. The thing that always angers me about this minigame, or really any match 3 game is when the game like freaking blinks to show you a move for you to match. Like, why am I even playing the game if you're just gonna give me the answer? What is the point? I'm not a brainless moron. Just give me 5 seconds to find a match. The next minigame is called Invisigool, and you'll never guess, but the zombies here are... Luckily, the plants can still see the zombies, so they know when to shoot. The most helpful thing here is freeze shroom, as it shows exactly where the zombies are, even if you don't have protection in that lane. You can also listen for the sounds of the peas hitting a zombie to determine what type it is. That way you know if you're dealing with a bucket head or not. This one's fairly easy, but the Zomboni does look really funny coming out invisible. Next up, we've got Seeing Stars. For this one, we just need to put a bunch of star fruit in the outline spaces to make a star. Seeing as star fruit are pretty good, this is no real issue. With that completed, it's on to Zombiquarium. This one's a little different from all the previous mini-games, as instead of taking place on the lawn, we're now in charge of a little fish tank filled with snorkel zombies. The zombies will produce sun orbs, but need to be fed every once in a while or they'll die. You can feed them brains by clicking on the screen at the cost of 5 sun. You can use 100 of the sun they give to purchase additional zombies for the tank. There's probably some optimal balance to give you the best speed to finish the game, but I just keep filling the tank because big number make me feel good. Eventually though, this results in a bit of a disaster. No, my zombies! Oh no! Oh my god! Oh god. Luckily I already had enough sun for the trophy by this point, so I can leave behind my tank of unreanimated corpses and move on to Begooled Twist. This one I never understood. I always just clicked everywhere until it worked. Maybe, but I'm a little bit older now. Maybe I actually know what I'm doing. There? No. Can I go like, no? Can I go like, no? So you gotta go... Yeah, this one's supposed to work like Begooled, but you move everything in this weird circular pattern thing, and yeah, I just kind of randomly click around the board until I'm given 75 matches. The fact that there's no punishment for this means that that's the intended way to clear this level. The following minigame is a harder version of the Little Zombies level from 3.5. Not much to talk about here, as it's pretty much exactly the same as that level from before. We're halfway through the minigames, and it's on to Portal Combat, and this one's actually pretty cool. There are these portals that go over some of the lanes, and bullets and zombies alike will walk through them. For some lanes, this gives you a ton of time to shoot, because zombies essentially have to go through 2 lanes. In some lanes, you barely even have a second because the portal teleports them right to the end. Throughout the level, the portal also shifts positions, so you need to make sure to flesh out every single lane. As long as you can save your walnuts for emergencies, you should be fine. After that, we've got Column like you seen. This minigame is like a normal conveyor belt level, only when you place down a plant, it places that plant across every single lane. Because of the overpowered nature of this effect, they don't give you many plants to place down and also send a ton of zombies at you. The strongest plant in this mode is obviously the chili pepper, as it's a complete screen clear. But I foolishly wasted in the very first wave, thinking I'll be sent more down the line. However, I am not, and this makes things pretty sticky by the time we get to the final wave. Holy crap, there's so many things on screen. Oh my god, look at how many zombies are on screen. Holy crap, man. Oh crap, this is bad. 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 This is really bad. Oh no. Oh no. Biffed that one. Definitely need to save my chili pepper. I used it at some stupid moment, as I recall. The next attempt, I get a lot luckier, and we get a ton more insta-kills like squashes and peppers. I save them for the middle and final waves, which lets me easily get through this time. The next minigame is one that some consider to be the hardest one in Plants vs Zombies 1, Bobsled Bonanza. For this game, you have to actually pick your plants, and you better pick wisely, as this level starts out with ice on every single lane and zombonis constantly being sent down, meaning that waves upon waves of bobsleds are just sliding down into your direction. I started this level using mostly doom shrooms to clear out any zombies. Since this level is all zombonis, the pool levels are completely safe for us to pre-plant some doom shrooms and then just wake it up with a coffee bean when we need it. This is a strategy you'll start to see me using in a lot of levels, because not only is doom shroom so powerful, but also being able to pre-plant them in the day makes their cooldown almost non-existent. The first wave is actually pretty tough, just having to constantly balance insta-kills, but by the time we've gotten to the second, I have 3 Peters and Torchwood set up on every lane, tearing through the bobsleds, meaning I only need to worry about the zombonis. The final wave is tough, but luckily my doom shroom is recharged, so I can place it here and clear out the level. Then we've got Zombie Nimble, Zombie Quick. Oh my god, everything is going in fast motion. Holy crap. Oh my god. This is like Zoomer PVZ. And that speed applies to everything in the level. The zombies, the recharge times, the wave speed. I go with Gloom Shrooms for this one, and once I have 2 on every lane, the only thing I need to make sure I do is monitor the health of the garlic. Garlic is a plant you can place at the end of a lane to push zombies into neighboring ones, making an absolutely perfect combo with Gloom Shrooms. Make sure you have 2 lanes of them to prevent against pole zombies, though. Overall, this one was fun, but definitely easy. And speaking of easy, we've got another whack-a-zombie game next. Click Zombie, Zombie Die. And make sure to bust all the graves, so there's only a few that they can spawn from, making the final waves much easier. I think if I hadn't done that, I would have really struggled here because they're sending out lots of zombies from each grave. Before we head into the next minigame, I want to stop by Crazy Dave's shop and buy the Winter Melon, an upgrade to the melon pult that gives him freezing properties. This makes him probably the best plant in the entire game, for real this time. The reason I wanted to grab him is because our next minigame is Last Stand. Here, all sunflowers are banned, and you're given just 5,000 sun to plant a defense that needs to last through 5 waves of zombies. I placed down a ton of our newly acquired winter melons, as well as melon pults to supplement them. With all my remaining sun, I placed potato mines on every square, ensuring that any zombie that makes it past their defense is not getting far. But we hardly need the spuds here, as we see the raw power of the winter melon, just ripping through zombies before they can even step foot on the lawn. At the end of every wave, you're given a very small amount of sun, which I can use to refresh our spud mines. The only thing to watch out for is the football zombies, as they will run ahead of the group, and because the winter melon is now targeting the zombie in front, the zombie horde behind him is no longer taking that splash damage. Luckily, not one of them is able to get past the spud mine wall, winning us the level. Now, before we go on to the next minigame, we're gonna go back to Last Stand. Like I said earlier, we're gonna need tons of money to complete this run, like 300,000 more dollars. This, combined with the fact that everything's gonna get harder from here, means that I want to get $50,000 here to buy the rest of the available plants at Crazy Dave's shop. Last Stand is a great place to grind money, because you can set up your defenses as opposed to having to build it as the level goes on. For all 5 waves, we only really need 3 gloom shrooms, as they can take on every zombie that's sent at us. This means on the other spots on the lawn, we can just place down 2 new plants. Firstly, the marigold. Marigold is basically like a sunflower for money, producing a coin every couple seconds. We can combine this with the upgrade I bought for the magnet shroom, the golden magnet, which attracts all coins on screen to it. Shout out to localhost on YouTube for the 14-year-old tutorial. Despite the fact that it was recorded in 144p and uses black text on a red background, it was a dang good guide. Each time I do this garners me around 5,000 gold. So after a full hour of grinding, I've garnered the 50,000 we need and buy out the rest of the plants in Crazy Dave's shop, which is perfect timing as the next minigame is Zombotany 2, and this one's a huge step up in difficulty from the original. Now they've got repeater zombies, squash zombies, and even hot pepper zombies. But I've just purchased the perfect defense, the cattail. You see, as we learned last time, the best way to win is to build in as few lanes as possible, as protecting all 6 lanes from the pea shooter zombies is really tough. Luckily, cattail can be placed on top of the lily pad and her shots are homing. With just 2 cattails and some insta-kills, we can cover pretty much the entire map. Zombies you need to watch out for the most are the Gatling pea heads. They fire 4 shots at once, so if they're not dealt with, they can quickly tear through your entire lane. Luckily, cattails are just so strong that we can just crush the level and move on. Now it's on to the final Walnut Bowling minigame, Walnut Bowling 2. This is my final chance to get the Hit 5 Zombies achievement. During the non-waves, I make sure to use my insta-kill nuts to clear the zombies. That way, when the waves actually come, I've saved up all my regular walnuts and can maximize my bounce potential. The disco zombies also help, as they're positioned in a way where you can bounce off one of his backup dancers. 4 bounce after 4 bounce goes by, and I'm still unable to get that potato achievement until...
For 5! For the truth! 1, 2, 3. I wasn't counting, but I didn't get the achievement, so... Yes! Finally! Oh my god. I can just play this normally.
With that checked off, I can plow through the rest of the level, though the final wave is pretty gigantic, so I'm forced to use some lawn mowers. Next up, we've got Pogo Party, a level that features almost entirely Pogo Zombies. I go with old reliable Gloomstrom here, as their ability to fire in all 8 directions means that they can still fire at the Pogo Zombies even once they've been jumped over. I also use Tall Nuts as support since they can't be jumped over. Now is on to Plants vs Zombies' final minigame, Dr. Zomboss's Revenge. And this is just basically a tougher version of the original boss fight. You need to be careful this time to not use all of your instants on Zomboss, as this time he even sends Gargantuars down each lane, which you need a way to counter. There's one other major thing you need to look out for too.
Don't throw the bus, don't throw the bus, don't throw the bus, don't throw the bus, don't throw the bus. Who threw the bus?
But despite his bus-throwing antics, Dr. Zomboss goes down once again, giving us the achievement for beating all 20 minigames, which means it's time to head back to the puzzle tab. First up, we've got a vase breaker level called Chain Reaction.
That's stuck. I see now why it's called Chain Reaction.
The real problem is the football zombies, but as long as we save some hypno shrooms for them, we're able to get through the level completely fine. Next up is M for metal, which just has a ton of bucket heads. Luckily, we're given some magnet shrooms, and if we just wait to open the vases until he's recycled his bucket, we can get several uses out of him. Of course, I don't do that because I'm an impatient man-child, but it might be a good tip for you if YouTube Shorts has not turned your brain into mush yet. After that, we've got Scary Potter, a level that I refuse to cover because of a certain individual I hope to deliver a roundhouse to the face. On to Hokey Pokey, and for this level, we're given a bunch of spike weed to deal deal with zombies. You need to be careful here, as each zombie either needs 4 spikeweed or a spikeweed and a walnut. After that is Chain Reaction 2, which actually ends up being one of the easiest vase breaker levels. You'd think because of all the Jack-in-the-Box zombies opening up vases it'd be hard, but they actually put so many Jack-in-the-Box zombies that there's not really any other zombies for you to have to kill. The same cannot be said for Ace of Vase, as this puzzle introduces everyone's deformed monstrosity, the Gargantuar. Luckily, it also introduces the Plantern, which lets you look inside of the surrounding 8 vases, helping you find the 2 squashes you'll need to kill Mr. Garg as soon as possible. The hardest part becomes all the bucket heads they throw at us, but I'm able to make it through. Now is on to Vase Breaker Endless. For this achievement, we need to get all the way to wave 15 of this endless mode, which should be no problem, as in my Plants vs Zombies 2 video, I already got all the way to wave 30 in that endless mode. So this should be one piece of cake.
Oh, it's over. Ooh, and I have no sun left. Oh no, not like this! Oh my god. Please. It's so doable. It's so doable. Unless this is a zombie. Oh.
Yup, blundered this achievement just 2 waves away. Brutal. To calm down, I head into the Zen Garden, which is going to be one of the major ways we make money in this playthrough. You see, sometimes throughout the game, you find these little potted plants. If you raise them in your Zen Garden, they will eventually mature, which will give you huge amounts of money upon selling them. Like $10,000 money. So make sure to periodically check in here. Back to Endless Vase Breaker though, and it's mostly the same as the Ace of Vase levels, with 5 bucket heads, a bunch of zombies, and a Gargantuar. You get sun from each level, and that carries over throughout your streak. It's important to save as much of the sun as possible, because starting in wave 10, each wave is going to have 2 Gargantuars, and you will definitely need that sun for some cherry bombs. On wave 12, I accidentally open up a Garg as my very first vase, and open the second one not soon after, so I'm forced to blow through my stockpile of sun, leaving me defenseless going into level 13. Luckily, we can use the Plantern to determine where our Gargantuar is and plan accordingly. I freak out at his spot though, as if he used to throw his imp, it'll go right over my entire defense. I later learned that if a Gargantuar is halfway across the screen, he will never throw his imp, which is a huge relief. But that's the last bit of drama, as the final level of the streak goes extremely well, giving me the achievement. Now is on to the final string of puzzle levels, iZombie. For these levels, we play as the zombies against a bunch of cardboard cutouts of the plants to practice our home invasion skills. You can spawn different zombie types for varying amounts of sun. To get the sun though, you need to eat the sunflowers placed around your lawn. I really like this mode. It's some of the best levels this game has to offer. The first level is pretty easy though, mainly just needing to use the basic zombie to get rid of the squash, and then bucket heads for everything else. Once we eat all 5 brains at the end of the lane, we can advance on to the next level. That next level is iZombie 2, and here we're allowed to use the screen door zombie. He's incredibly useful against the Snow Pea, as his screen shield protects him from being slowed. Just make sure to use a bucket head for any spikeweed lanes, as the shield doesn't protect him from that. Explain to me why holding a metal door doesn't protect you from spikes, but a bucket helmet does. For the third puzzle, we have Can You Dig It, where we're given access to the Digger zombies. Digger zombies are kind of broken because there are almost no split peas in this game mode, but they do have the downside of having to send another zombie down the lane to eat the brain. For our 4th level, it's totally nuts. Here, every lane starts with a walnut, so we need to put ladder zombies down to get over them. Then we've got Dead Zeppelin. For this one, the lanes are pretty tough, but annoyingly there's a magnet shroom. So we need to use a normal zombie to find a way to get enough sun to summon a bungee zombie to get rid of the magnet shroom. Then we can just throw buckets down every lane. In Me Smash, for a whopping 300 sun, you can summon a Gargantuar. I don't know if this level was supposed to be hard, because my level spawned with a lane that has 3 sunflowers, a torchwood, and a garlic. So 1 pole vault zombie later, and we can put Gargs in every lane. Then we've got Zomboogie, where we're given the dancing zombie. Since this level has no projectile plants, only instant kills, it's perfect for the dancing zombie, as we can just send them down the center lane and buckets on the sides. For our penultimate game, we've got 3-hit wonder. This is definitely the hardest level so far. While we could previously spawn a zombie for 50 sun, this has now been swapped for an imp who basically only works if nothing hits him. But they've given us Digger zombies with no way to counter him, so it ends up being a cinch, and we can progress on to the final iZombie level. All your brains belong to us.
God, this game is making me feel old.
I found kind of a weird quirk in this level. I was throwing some imps down this lane to tank the spud mine, but sometimes they can make it past the 3-peater in this lower lane, and sometimes they can't. Strange. Anyway, getting through the rest of that first lane gives me enough sun to put a bungee down to get rid of the magnet, and the rest is history. With all the iZombie puzzles complete, we've unlocked the endless mode, where we need to survive until wave 10. Now, the later levels in iZombie are actually pretty difficult, but due to what I feel is a massive oversight, I can get through pretty easily. You see, like all endless modes, the levels start off easy and progressively get harder. And for these easier levels to be easy, they need to give you lots of sun. However, for some reason, your sun carries over from level to level. This means as long as you play conservatively in your first 4 or so levels, you should have thousands of extra sun. Meaning that even if you play badly in the later levels, like I definitely did, you can just spam football zombies until you win. Even doing that, I still had like 1,000 sun going to the final level. So with all my extra sun, every lane either gets a digger or a football, and we hit a 10 streak, giving us the achievement. Now it's time to move on to the final game mode, survival. For the survival modes, you need to survive a certain number of waves with one singular setup. In between every few waves, you're given the option to update the plants you bring. So you're not locked into bringing something like sunflowers every wave if you already have enough. There's a survival for every single level type: day, night, pool, fog, and roof. I'm not going to go through any of the first 5 survivals, because beating them unlocks the hard mode versions of each of these 5 levels, and since the hard mode versions are nearly identical, but you know, harder, I'm just going to go through those. So starting off, we've got Survival Day Hard. The first thing you'll notice here is that I've got 2 copies of Sunflower. This is because of a new plant I purchased, Imitator. Imitator allows you to bring a second copy of any plant. Most of the time in these longer levels, you have plenty of sun, but your recharge timers are taking so long. So Imitator is a huge help in fixing that. I always start out with an Imitator Sunflower, as this springboards the heck out of your sun economy. The build I decided to go with for this survival is Gatling Pea and Torchwood. Gatling Pea is a new upgrade plant that goes on top of Repeater, giving it 4 peas instead of 2. I initially thought it would be best to get Repeaters down in every lane first, that way they're all protected, and from there start placing the Gatlings. However, going through the normal survivals, I had a realization. Any plant upgrades take a really long time to recharge. Definitely the longest in the game. As such, you want to get these out as soon as possible, because even though you can change seed packets in the break, it doesn't refresh recharge times. You want to make sure that the second any plant upgrade is ready, you're placing it, which is why I have so much sun production. This abundance of sun gives me Torchwoods, Gatlings, and a second row of Repeaters in nearly every lane by the end of the first section. Each hard mode survival has 5 segments, with each segment having 2 waves, so 10 waves total. The insane amount of peas being fired, combined with the splash damage of Torchwood, just tears through every zombie in sight. Despite this being hard mode, this ends up being so easy, I get a mini marigold money farm going in the middle of my sun setup. With all the daytime gargantuars slain, it's time for survival hard night. Even though sunshrooms are more efficient at night than sunflowers, I still bring my trusty imitated sunflower, as I've unlocked an upgrade for the sunflower called the Twin Sunflower, which doubles her sun production rate. At the end of your build, you want as little space wasted by sun producers as possible, so it's important to plant these, though I do still plant some sunshrooms to get going. For this survival in the front, I go with gloom shrooms once again. But since they're so space efficient, I also place down some cob cannons in the back. Cob cannons are an upgrade to kernel pults, but they are unique as they're the only plant to take up a whopping 2 spaces. However, for the cost, you have what's essentially a rechargeable cherry bomb that you can fire anywhere on the screen. This is great for any pesky zombie who manages to make it past our gloom shroom fortress. I also put cacti in every lane because they are balloon zombies, and I think it's funnier than using blower. There's a slight problem with this build in that if a gargantuar spawns on the gloom shroom lane and you're not quick enough with your cobs, you'll lose all your shrooms. But they're sending so few gargs here that you can definitely recover. That close call scared me straight though, and for this pool level, we're using the game's best plant again, the Wintermelon. Seriously, I know I talked about it before, but these guys are unbelievably good. Like, look, I only need 2 lanes of them for all of these zombies, so I end up hitting the maximum amount of sun in 10,000. This lets me use the rest of the 7 waves to just farm money with the marigold, because we're still not even close to the amount of money we need. For survival fog, I go with a cattail build. In no way are cattails better than some of these endgame plants that we've unlocked, but like, hey, they're fun. And she's got a little cat beanie on, so that's awesome. The game was creating cat girls before they were even a trend. I do discover a pretty weird quirk with cattails though that I never knew. You see, they have these homing bullets that go all across the screen. However, the bullets can only damage the target it was locked onto. So any overkill bullets still in the air when the targeted zombie dies just fly over the rest of the zombies instead of hitting them. Despite my love for cattails, I learned here that they are definitely not enough to cover the lawn on their own, so I end up having to supplement them with snow peas less than halfway through. And then as we get later in, Gatling peas as well. And before you comment, little bro was putting snow peas through a torchwood. This was during a transitionary period. I know that doesn't work. On to survival roof, and I hate to be boring, but it's gotta be wintermelons again. This one is definitely the hardest of the 5, so I'm not taking my chances. Just less than halfway through these waves, they're sending gargantuars. Wait, how did they get zambonis on my roof? Where did they even get them up there? How did they do that? Despite the hordes and hordes of zombies they're sending at us, Wintermelon tears through it all. And the ones that it doesn't, we always have Doom Shrooms for. With Wave 10 completed, we've now finished every single mode in the game, so it's time to collect our reward. I got the Golden Sunflower Trophy! I didn't even mean to click on it, but I got it. Wow, you got all the trophies. Now it's time to play more endless games. And don't forget to tend to your end. And don't forget, but even though we finished everything in the game, we've still got 4 achievements remaining. And for the first one, we need to play through the entire story mode again, all the way back to the last level of World 4. This was definitely the worst part of the entire process, as I just beat the game like 10 hours ago, so doing it all again with better plants was not ideal. Along the way, though, I take one of the early day levels to grab the Good Morning achievement for beating a daytime level with only mushrooms and coffee beans. I use my first sunburst to place down a sunshroom and a coffee bean to wake him up. I can then use his sun to wake all of the other sunshrooms up. Since this is the very first level in the game, they're only sending basic zombies, so a single scaredy shroom is enough to take care of each lane. We always have our free puff shrooms to stall any zombie who manages to get through our defenses as well. And just like that, we've got the Good Morning achievement. For the rest of the second playthrough, I just try and go through the levels as quickly as possible. Initially, I was trying to set up these complex marigold farms every level, but I realized it was slowing me down greatly, so eventually I just switched to whatever I think will beat the level the fastest. After a full 5.5 hours of replaying through the game, I finally have made it back to level 410. Now, why did I have to get all the way back here, you ask? Well, because this is the only guaranteed spot spawn of the Yeti zombie, which you need to discover for an achievement. Now, while he's guaranteed to spawn in this level, which gets you the achievement, I also want to try and kill him. More often than not, after a few seconds, the Yeti zombie will just sprint away, completely preventing the kill. However, killing the Yeti zombie gives you 5,000 whole dollars, which I could really use right now, as I'm still 80,000 off where I need to be for the last achievement. Unfortunately, killing the Yeti isn't super in your control, since this is, of course, a conveyor belt level.
Ugh, just give me one Doom Shroom, man. I mean, they must do it intentionally, right?
I saw him! I see him! Come on, go, kill him! Come on. Kill me. Come on, kill him.
Did we get him?
Yes! Oh my god, yes! Yes!
Woo! Alright, that just leaves 2 left over. Alright, let's start on the first one.
And that first one is to survive until wave 20. In the final mode, we've unlocked Survival Endless. This is by no means an easy feat, as things get absolutely insane by the end of the 20 waves, so we need to prepare adequately. A big part of that preparation is planning for things way in the future, which is why I immediately start getting out my winter melons. Yeah, I'm gonna be using winter melons again here, but trust me, nothing else is gonna cut it. I also start popping down my twin sunflowers as soon as possible. Survival Endless has a unique quirk where each time you place an upgraded plant down, the next one costs an extra 50 sun. With the amount of melons we need, this means that they could end up costing upwards of 900 sun by the end of this. So we need to get as much sun as possible in the early stages. Luckily, by the end of the first 2 flags, we have twin sunflowers and winter melons on every lane. With those all set up, it's time to place down some gloom shrooms in the back line. This won't be relevant for a while, but we need to protect our winter melons from the multitude of zombies that can reach our back lines, like digger zombies and imps. I also want to get pumpkins on every single plant, so I bring imitated pumpkins as well, as pumpkin also has a pretty large recharge timer. Once that has all been set up, it's time for the cob cannons. These are a must, because as soon as flag 7, we start getting gargantuars, not to mention multiple per lane. Once the full setup is finished, the last piece of the puzzle is to start pre-planting doom shrooms for emergencies. While this setup will cover most zombies, there are constant niche zombies being introduced that you must deal with in your build, like on flag 10 when they start sending catapult zombies. These things are a massive threat because they can take down your back line even through a pumpkin, and you definitely cannot waste a vital space to put down an umbrella leaf. So the next couple waves just become me spamming spikeweed as fast as I can. While spike rock can be used multiple times, its recharge timer is just so slow to guarantee putting it everywhere, so it's just all spikeweed all the time. Flag 13 introduces the strongest zombie in the game, the Giga Gargantuar. This zombie has double the health of a normal Gargantuar, meaning you would need to use 4 instant kills to take it down. This thing is an absolute menace, and you need to use at least a few cobs on it, or else it'll just tear down your entire setup. The benefit of placing spike rock for the catapult zombies and the zombonis is that it's the only plant that the Gargantuars can't kill in a single hit, giving you more time to ready your cobs and doom shrooms. I have an extremely close call here at the end, but luckily I'm able to ready a cob in time and kill the Gigas. For some reason, that was the last time the game sends a Gargantuar in my direction. As for the last 4 waves, it's all just normal zombies. Now, given there is so many of them, like, oh my god, so many, but as long as I just keep firing cobs and planting doom shrooms, I'm able to stay mostly protected. On wave 20, bungees take my doom shrooms, but I'm still strapped with cobs, so I can clear out the horde, and
There's my achievement. There we go. But we're not done yet, because we still got like 37k, I think, more left to get.
Yes, despite getting the achievement here, I continue on into the depths of Survival Endless. This is because Survival Endless is actually a great place to grind for money, as once you reach the later levels, so many zombies are on screen at once that you end up just raking in huge amounts of cash. Waves 32 and 33 in particular end up giving me so much money that my golden magnet can barely pick it all up. Things get too big for me around wave 35. I think if I wanted to survive past this, I would need to pivot to all cob cannons because they just send so many Giga Gargantuars at you here. I get to 36 waves completed, which I'm pretty proud of for my first attempt. But more important than my fragile male ego is that doing these waves not only got me money, but some Zen garden plants, giving me the last bit of money we need for Plants vs Zombies final achievement. Now, I've been alluding to this achievement basically the entire video, so what is it that we need all this money for?
So, if we go to Crazy Dave's Twiddlydinks, go by the Tree of Wisdom, and then if we go to our Zen garden, there's a new tab here with the Tree of Wisdom.
Hey, 100%, this is your Tree of Wisdom.
I brought you some tree food to get you started. Oh, he started us off with 5, 6.
Yes, every time we give the Tree of Wisdom some tree food, it'll grow a single foot. In order to get the final achievement for this game, we need to get this stupid thing all the way to 100 feet tall. Tree food costs 2,500 at Crazy Dave's, meaning that to grow this thing 100 feet, you need $237,000. I am so glad I planned for this basically my entire playthrough, because if I hadn't, this probably would have been like 10 straight hours of money farming. Also, for some reason, Crazy Dave only lets you buy tree food in blocks of 10. Explain this to me, David. But after 8 minutes of spam clicking, I buy the 100th tree food, giving me the game's final achievement. Even after 15 years, Plants vs Zombies is still an absolute masterpiece and one of my all-time favorite games. And the 100% run is actually really fun, with this one only taking like 25 hours. Let me know what game you want me to 100% next, and tell me all the skill issues I had in the comments. Bye! Bye! And thanks again to War Thunder for sponsoring today's video. Make sure to check out War Thunder for free now on PC, PlayStation, or Xbox, and use my link below to secure your absolutely free bonus pack.